After an absence of probably 2.5, maybe 3 years, I decided to reactivate my Facebook profile for a very specific reason, and that's what I want to tell you about. So this is a short story about Geoffrey. Geoffrey is a friend of mine. He's a fellow Brit, he's a cyclist, and he lives here in Berlin. And about 4 years ago, he got diagnosed, about 4 years ago, he had a small stroke. And that limited, to some extent, his control of his right side, which as a musician was pretty difficult because it meant that he couldn't play his music anymore. 3 years after that, during a visit to the doctor, he then discovered that it wasn't all that simple, and he got diagnosed with Parkinsons, which, as you'll understand, is a lot worse. And this threw up an interesting story, which is the substance of this short communication. So, having been diagnosed, of course, they set about getting his drugs right, which they did fairly quickly. They did a very good job of that. And the drugs that he takes or takes to ameliorate the symptoms of Parkinson's had the astonishing effect of returning in their entirety his musical abilities. So he got back control over the right side of his body. Which precipitated Geoffrey into a very interesting situation. So he was left essentially with this biblical choice of either succumbing to the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, to as it were, give in to the situation and let things roll their course, or to take arms. And that's what he did, very much to my admiration. He decided that he wanted to write, record and release one more album, and in the full understanding that this is a time-delimited thing, because Parkinson's, generally speaking, goes in one direction only. And he set about and did it. He contacted me a couple of months ago and asked me if I would help him to market this. Marketing music is per se impossible. You just can't do it. It's just not possible. However, this is particularly good music that he's made, and the story behind it is quite inspiring. So we set about this, and a couple of months later we have a website. It's called The Winter Years, which is also the name of the album. And that is why I decided to go back onto Facebook, because I'm quite evangelical about this and I want to push it every way possible. It's a really good album. There are 13 tracks. Geoffrey is a very contemplative and accomplished musician. He's been everywhere, seen it, done it. He's seen in the 80s he was hanging around with the Eurythmics, with the Yardbirds. He has a very big reputation in the world of contemporary dance, and he's a very good musician. So that's the story. That's why I'm back on Facebook. And I would urge all of you, everyone who sees this message, look at the link below, visit the website, read it, have a thought, think about it. And if this creates any sort of resonance for anybody, pass that on. Buy the album, tell your friends. Like it, post it, buy the album, and Merry Christmas.